So we are doing lesson 1 for grade 2 today. Lesson 1 for grade 2. And the topics that we are going to look at today are rhythm, pitch, and rhythm. We are going to look at pitch. There is little left on pitch, and then we have rhythm part 1. These are the topics that we're going to cover during the grade 2 period, and it's going to take us maybe 4 weeks, if it's maximum of 2 weeks, 4 weeks. So these are the terms and signs for the day. You all witnessed that you had a problem in the mock exam with terms and signs. The reason is that you did not take this first period seriously. You did not go through this carefully. Usually there is about 10 marks for every exam from the terms and signs. So let's look at the ones for grade 2 that we're going to begin with. And we have the first one as a dynamic. It's FP. FP is forte piano. Forte piano. You all know that forte is loud, piano is quiet. So this forte piano means loud, then immediately quiet. Loud, then immediately quiet. So that's the meaning. Like loud, quiet on the same note. And then we have presto. Presto, we have it means fast, and this fast is quicker than allegro. Remember, allegro, we said it means quick. So presto is fast, quicker than allegro. We have vivace or vivo, which means lively or quick. Lively or quick, but mostly it's lively. Then we have lento. Lento means slow, and it is actually slower than adagio. Remember, we said in grade 1 adagio means slow. There's a spelling mistake here. It's not agagio, it is adagio. Yep, so that is lento, slower than adagio. And then we have largo. Largo means slow. It's the same as lento. So lento and largo means slow. And largo can also mean stately. And that is same or slower than lento. It's good enough to think about them as the same, lento and largo. Then we have grave. Grave means very slow, solemn. That is grave. Più mosso. Più means more. So più mosso, and mosso means movement. Più mosso is more movement, or it might be used to mean quicker. And then we have meno mosso. Meno mosso means less movement, and that is slower. Meno is less, and then mosso is movement. Ritenuto, or in short riten or rit, means getting slower or held back. Usually held back is the one you're supposed to know because it's the one in the choices. Ritenuto means held back. And then con moto. Con means with, and moto is movement. Con moto, with movement. And then we have allagando, which means broadening. Allagando is broadening. And then we have dal segno, which is in short is DS. It means repeat from the sign this. This is the sign segno. It's called segno, but we read it, it's written as segno. So when you find the segno, it means repeat from this sign that you can see here. It's called a segno. Alright, so the first thing we are covering in the first topic is pitch. And in pitch, you're going to look at ledger lines. Pitch We're going to learn about ledger lines, more ledger lines, that is, because we saw middle C last time, and then rewriting notes in treble clef and rewriting notes in bass clef under pitch. So I hope you can remember the names for these notes. Let me see. Alice, kindly remind me the name of these notes. The first one here on
Yes.
the left is
Semi-brief.
followed by
Followed
by
a minim,
and then
a crotchet,
and then
a quiver,
followed by.
a semi-quiver.
Oh, how did you know that? Tulifanya semi-quiver. Okay. Yeah, that's right. And then they have other names. They have other names. The semi-brief is also called a whole note. The minim is a half note. The crotchet is a quarter note. Quiver is an eighth note, and the semi-quiver is a 16th note. So they go like dividing into twos, into halves. Like a half of a whole is a half. Its half is a quarter. Its half is an eighth, and then its half is a 16th note. And then we have these ledger lines. We have these ledger lines on the treble clef. Remember, we talked about middle C, and we already know middle C. It's on its own short line called a ledger line. Yeah. So below it, we can also have other notes, and we can also have other notes above the treble clef. We did C, middle C, up to G, if you can remember. Now we are going further, up to 2 ledger lines and above the second ledger line, and 2 ledger lines and below the second ledger line. So remember, middle C is placed on a ledger line below the treble clef, and it's not the only note that is written on a ledger line. There are other letters, like when you look below, these 4 notes, these are notes that are below middle C. When you have middle C, right below that ledger line for middle C, we have B, and then on the second ledger line below the treble clef, we have A, and then below the 2 ledger lines, we have G. So that is from middle C going downwards is line, space, line, space. So we have C, B, A, G below the middle C. Kindly take note of those notes. And then we have these other notes above G. Remember, we said the lines for the treble clef are every good boy deserves fun. And then the last line is F, so the space above F is G. And so the first ledger line is A above the treble clef, then followed by this B on the space, and then C on the second ledger line, and then D above the second ledger line. We need to master these extra notes on the ledger lines. So on the bass clef, same thing. Middle C is usually placed on a ledger line above the bass clef. Here it is, middle C, and this is middle C. And we are going to learn up to the second ledger line and above the second ledger line and above it, and the second ledger line and below it. So look at the notes on the left. We have the bass clef, and remember the last line, the first line for the bass clef was G, so the space below it is F, and so the first ledger line is E, followed before it is D, before it is C, and before that is B. Remember, to find a letter name, you just need to know the letter alphabets, going backwards when you're going down and going forward when you're going up. So middle C above the bass clef is the first ledger line, followed by the D on top of that ledger line, followed by E on the second ledger line, and then F above the second ledger line. So these are the notes above middle C that need ledger lines to write them. Remember, you don't need two ledger lines to write a D. You only need a ledger line when you're writing a note on it or above it. You don't write a ledger line if there is nothing above it or on it. As you can notice, we only use fewer ledger lines as possible, as few ledger lines as possible, because you don't want to write two ledger lines and then write a D there between them. You only use a ledger line when necessary. So look at the following. This will help you find the notes easily, and I want you to take this to look at this very closely. These are all the C's that we have done so far, the C's. We have the middle C, and you can see it on the treble clef, it's here below, and on the bass clef, it's on the right. So learning the position of the C's on the treble and the bass clef is very important. There is a C on the fourth line of the treble clef, and that we already know it. And then we have a C on the second space of the bass clef. We already know that. So I want you to take note of the ledger lines above the treble clef. The second ledger line above the treble clef, that is a C. And then we have the second ledger line below the bass clef. It's also a C. So in case you have those very low notes and you want to know them, instead of coming up to maybe G, the first line of the bass clef, and then start counting down, just remember that the second ledger line is usually a C, below the bass clef and above the treble clef. And then remember the middle C between the clefs, that is between the treble clef and the bass clef. And then remember the other C is inside the staff. It's the fourth space on the treble clef and the second space on the bass clef. If you can master the position of the C's, then you will not have a problem with knowing where to, knowing the letters on the ledger lines. Just remember, far above the treble clef, we have the second ledger line C, and then low below the bass clef, we have the second ledger line C. Both of them are the second ledger lines. Take note of that. So I want us to just make sure that we are on the same page. So kindly Ann Mokundi, you have a problem with network?
No, somebody interfered by calling. Sorry for that.
Oh, okay. So why have you got what I just said on the ledger lines?
Not yet.
Okay, so Alice, kindly help us out. I want you to name the first four notes. The first note is?
The first one.
Yeah, we are going from the left to right.
Okay, can somebody else please help me before I catch up kidogo?
Oh, you are not following?
I was, but I'm a bit slow in learning.
You're not slow. Just try it out. You're not slow at all. Try it out. So you know this is, you know the first line, the ledger line here. Do you know the name of this? Yeah, it's C. So what comes below C? What comes before C?
Below C, B.
Yes, this is B. You're right. And then look at the other one and use the same procedure to...
B.
Yes, it's B. What about the next one? Use the same procedure from the middle C.
The next one.
Yeah.
Okay. This is B. Is it A?
Yes, this is A. You're right. What about the next one?
The next one, G.
You're right. And the last one here on the right?
The last one is just a minute.
It's the most famous one.
Is it is it C?
Yes, this is middle C. You're right. So let's hear Anne Mokundi if you can follow what you are doing now. Kindly tell us the next four notes.
The first one is sorry. The first one is A.
The first one is A. You're right. The second one? If you know A, then you can see this is just above A. You don't have to start counting again. Yeah, this is B, followed by
C.
C, followed by
D.
Yes, that's correct. So let's look at this other one. Kindly, Michael, help us out. The first four. Michael Shege. Michael cannot hear us. Anthony, help us out.
Yes, Molly.
Yeah, help us the first four notes.
Okay, I joined in a bit late. I had stepped out.
Okay.
But let me see if I can try. Okay, fine. So is the first one a C?
Yes, this is C. Next one.
E.
Followed by
B.
B, followed by
A.
No, it cannot be A.
No, it's no. Wait a minute. It's a D.
Yes, this is a D. Correct. Michael, can you hear us? You are muted. If you can hear, if you are speaking, then we cannot hear you. Okay, so this is middle C, D, E. So this one is E, followed by middle C, we know it. And then you can see this is two ledger lines, a space above it. So A is the last line, C is the middle C, and then D, E, F. This is F, and this is D. Okay, I hope that is clear. Let us now look at writing pitch.
Molly.
Yes, please.
Was that F or G?
That is F.
The second last one, was it F or?
That is F.
You said wrote it.
Oh, I said F and I wrote G. No, that's it should
Yes.
be F. Sorry, thank you for that.
Okay, thank you.
So we're going to look at writing notes on the same pitch using another clef. Writing notes on the same pitch using another clef. And this is what I mean. Look at these notes here. And I want to be talking to Anne Mokundi. Kindly unmute.
Yes, I'm here.
So you remember we said this is G, this is A, B, C. Is that right?
Yes.
So I want you to look at this and look carefully. What do you notice?
Well, the same notes on a different clef.
Exactly. This is how they are related.
Yeah.
So the second ledger line here is A. Is that right? This second note here. See, this is middle C here,
Yeah,
and then B, A.
Uh-huh.
This A
Yeah.
is the A that we usually find on the last line of the bass clef.
Okay.
You get it?
Yes.
So if you get the bass clef and write this note here on the space, and another one writes this on the G clef, then you are talking about the same note. I wonder if you can see that.
Yeah.
So someone writes two ledger lines. We are talking about this first note here, the first note. You write two ledger lines and then a note on the space below. And another person draws a bass clef and writes this note on the last space. You have written the same note. Is it making sense?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So look at the next one. Thank you. I hope. Let me see if Alice can help me out here. Alice.
Yes.
So this is middle C, you know that, the first note.
Mm.
And followed by D. Is that right?
Yeah.
And then?
Yeah. E.
And then?
F.
Yes, so look at this. Do you see how the bass clef relates with the treble clef?
Yeah.
You said this note is E, and you know the first line of the treble clef is E. So when you're talking about this E on the second ledger line of bass clef, you're talking about the same E that's the first line of the treble clef. So if you're told to write this E another way, you can write it on the treble clef and write the same note. So that means you can reach the treble clef using the ledger lines when you are when you're writing on the bass clef. You can use the first, second ledger line and you're already in the treble clef. Is it making sense?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Okay, so tell me this, answer this. Which of the treble clef notes is in the same pitch as the one shown on the bass clef below? Which one of the ones here on the right is the same as the one here on the bass clef? Can we go back to the previous slide? You just check to confirm.
Oh, okay. So.
This is what we had. Can you spot the note here that we just looked at?
Kindly go forward kidogo. Okay, go back. It's is it E?
Is it on a line or in a space?
No, not E. D.
Yes, it's D. So see if you can identify the one on the treble clef that is the same as this one here. Is it the first or the second one?
Let me see. The second one.
Exactly. That's what you, so what you ask yourself is this note here is above middle C, right above middle C. So when you come to the treble clef, the first one is below middle C, so it's not the note. Although they look like they are mirroring each other, but it's not the correct note. You just look for the one above middle C, and it's the one on the right.
Yeah.
Is it making sense? So what you ask yourself is, how far is it from middle C, and in which direction? Is it higher than middle C or lower than middle C? And then you'll get the right note.
Okay.
Is it more clear now?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see Ann Mukundi answering the second one. Which note of the bass clef notes is in the same pitch as the one shown on the treble clef below? Ann Mukundi.
Yes, teacher.
So look at the treble clef below here. This note here on the second ledger line below the treble clef. So which one of the ones on the right is the correct note that is in the same pitch as this one?
That is the second one.
The second one, you're right, because this is middle C, and then it is 2 steps below middle C. So when you come to this one is 2 steps above middle C, and the second one is below middle C. So you ask yourself, how far is it from middle C, and then to which direction? So that is correct. Thank you. You got it right.
Thank you.
All right. So look at the melody above, everybody, and then think about how you would write this melody in another clef. Like this is bass clef. It's starting from middle C, followed by the B below, and then a rest, and then the G below. And if you have to write it on the treble clef, then you should start from the same note. If you're writing on the same pitch, it should be middle C. Notice that this is also middle C, and then a step below, and then there's a rest, and then there's G. Remember, the G is below the second ledger line on the treble clef, and so on. So this is the correct way of writing this piece, this bar, on the same pitch, and not this way. When you write this way, this is C and B and a rest and a G, A, G like the other one. But what is wrong with this? Anthony, kindly help us. What is wrong with this last one? Why is it not the correct way of writing the first piece here, the first bar on the same pitch? What is wrong with it?
Actually, this lesson inanikanganya. You know, I started late. So I'm trying to follow up and catch up, and then I'm having another small meeting somewhere behind the scenes. So
Okay.
I'm a little bit floating.
Okay, sawa. So Alice, what do you think? Why do you think this is not a correct one, and the letters are the same? Like this is C, this is C, this is B, this is B. All of the letters are correct. Why is it not the correct answer according to writing in the same pitch?
Because of the ledger lines.
Yes. And this one is starting from middle C, and this one is starting from the C inside the G clef, which is wrong. We're supposed to write on the same pitch, not just the same name. Should be the same pitch. So notice the middle C.
Okay.
On the other one, you can see it's middle C, just like the first one.
Yeah.
So whenever you're given a question in the exam and you're asked which one is correctly written an octave on the same pitch, make sure you can see the middle C and know that the first note or the middle note or whichever the note, how far is... Oh, ninakata ni network yangu ama...
Ni yako unakatika katika.
Oh, sorry. Anne, are you able to get me clearly? Ama nakatika katika?
Unakatika katika sometimes.
Hebu niangalie. Okay, I have brought the phone closer. I hope sitakukatika katika tena. So I'll speak slowly so that ikikatika katika isipotee. So always make sure that you have the same note and not an octave higher or an octave lower. Nikipotea, kindly tell me ndo nirudie what I said earlier. So these are notes on the same pitch, though on a different clef. As we have said, you can see the same thing we looked at earlier. And then these are not on the same pitch, although they look somehow mirrored, because they are different direction from the middle C. Okay, so the second section, we're going to look at key signatures with a meaning beat and then with a quiver beat and then rewriting rhythms in different meters. This is going to be very easy, so we will go through very quickly. So in a time signature, remember the top number usually told us the number of beats in each bar. Number of beats in each bar. 3/4 was 3 crotchets in a bar. 2/4 was 2 crotchets in a bar. 4/4 was 4 crotchets in a bar. So the top number is the number of beats. And then the bottom number is about the value or the type of each beat. The value or the type of each beat. So we said the 4 as the bottom number tells us that the 3 beats in each bar, each of them is a quarter note or a crotchet. So 3/4 means 3 crotchets in a bar. So in grade 2, we're going to look at a different beat. We have the top number, which is again 3 and 4 and 2, just like grade 1. So the same thing, the top number still means the number of beats in each bar. But the bottom number here, we will have different value. So it still tells us the value or the type of each beat. But what is the meaning of 2? Someone make a good guess. Alice, see if you can guess the meaning of 2. So if 4 is for quarter, what is 2 for?
Half.
Half, exactly. And what is the other name of a half note?
The other name of a half note is a minim.
Exactly. So this time signature means in full there are 3.
There are 3 minims.
Minims in each bar. Perfect. That's correct. 3 minim beats in each bar. So based on that, kindly and Mokundi tell us the meaning of this time signature.
There are 2 minims in each bar.
2 minims in each bar. Thank you so much. And this is another way of writing 2 minims in each bar. You remember the C like this without a stroke meant common time in grade 1, and it also meant 4/4. Now when it has a stroke with crossing from the top to the bottom, that means 2/2, and the other name is alabrive. Alabrive. So if you find it in the questions, it's alabrive, and it means the same thing as 2/2. So let's look at the following. The time signature of this can be 4/4 and it can be 2/2. Why? Because we can divide it into 2 minim bits. So it can fit either. If you say 4/4, well, if you say 2/2, that's correct. But the next one, this is how many bits in a bar? See if, Alice, you can get the time signature of this bar. Seems to me like there are, how many crochets can you count?
Crochets.
Yeah.
3,
Are you sure?
4.
Count well.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay, the value, like how many, okay, I don't know how I put it. You know, when you are told there are 4 crochets in a bar, it doesn't mean they are all crochets. It can be a semi-breve.
Yeah.
So if
Oh,
if you
so
count,
there are 3.
there are 3 crochets, and then we have another crochet here. The 2 quavers can make a crochet, so that's the 4th one. And then we have a minim, which is equivalent to how many crochets?
2.
Yeah, so if you add all of them, it's equivalent to how many crochets?
2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
6. And we don't have a time signature like 6 crochets so far.
Yeah.
So it means that this is not a something 4 thing, it's a something 2. Is that right? So if it is the bit is a minim, so how many bits are there in this bar?
Okay. 1. Quarter. Half.
So count in minims.
2, 3, 4.
4 minims? No.
Oh, I count in minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, 1, 2, 3.
3 minims. Yeah, that's the correct. The time signature of this piece is 3/2. 3 minims in each bar. And Mokundi, try this one.
Okay. This one.
Count in minims because this cannot be a crochet bits.
Okay. 1, 2. 3, 2.
3 minims.
Oh.
Not really. Count well.
4 minutes.
4 minims. Yeah, that is 4/2. 4/2. You're right. So you can see how the minims are grouped. First minim, 2 minim, 3, and 4th bit. So let us look at another time signature, and in this case the bottom number is 8, not 2. So the top number, let me see who can guess the meaning of this now that we know how to read a time signature. What's the meaning of 3/8 in full? Alice, you can try. What's the meaning of 3/8? Now 3/4 is 3 crochets, 3/2 is 3 minims. What about 3/8?
3/8 is 3 quavers.
Perfect. Correct. 3 quavers in a bar. 8 means quavers because 8th note is a quaver. And 3/8 is 3 quavers in a bar. You okay, Anne Mokundi? You understand that?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so look at these examples of three quavers in a bar, how they look like. The minim is, the crochet is 2 quavers, add 1, that is 3, and then same here, 2 quavers, add 2 semiquavers, which is equal to 1 quiver, or even 3 quavers joined together. And you'll notice that in 3/8, whenever you have knots with tails, they are all beamed together, always joined together. So in 3/8, whenever you have beams, join everything together, making sure that the ones with one flag have one beam, and the ones that have 2 flags have 2 beams. So this is another example of how to write how some notes are written in the rhythms in 3/8. So let's look at rewriting rhythms in different meters. So it is possible to rewrite rhythms in different time signatures by changing the type of beat. So let me ask this kind of tricky question to Alice. So I have a piece that it has 70 minim beats in a bar. I mean per minute. 70 minim beats every minute. So I play 70 minims in 1 minute. And then I have another song that has 70 quavers in 1 minute. So I play 70 quavers in 1 minute. Which one of them will come to the end first?
The 70 minims.
70 minims will come to an end first because they are shorter, or because they are longer, or
Because
mm-hmm.
Because the minim,
Mm-hmm.
a quiver is shorter than a minim.
So that means the quavers will end faster.
Faster, yeah.
What do you think, Anne Mokundi?
They're the same.
They're the
quiver
same.
will add, yeah.
They're the same. You are right. So, Alice, this is kind of a riddle. So there'll be 70
Yeah,
in
I
a
just
minute.
noted when I muted.
There are
I
70
noted
in
when
a
I
minute.
muted.
Sorry?
I just noted immediately after I muted.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
if they are 70 in a minute, then it doesn't matter what they
Yeah.
are. They are 70
Yeah.
beats, so they will all end 70 in a minute. They'll end together. So what I want to show you is that it doesn't matter what the beat is. All that matters is that it's a beat. And that means it's possible to write one music in different time signatures and then sing the same way, because all you need to express is a beat. Because if you have one beat and another beat, so it is 1, 2, 1, 2. If it's crochet beats, then it is 2 crochets in a bar. If it is minim beats, then it's 2 minims in a bar. But it sounds exactly the same. So what you need to keep in mind is the type of beat. And when music is rewritten in a different meter, it sounds exactly the same way. Think about it. If there are 2 crochet beats in each bar, or if there are 2 minim beats in each bar, which one of the above has more beats than the other? They all have 2 beats, so no difference. So look at this. I want you to get this very clearly. So Anne Makundi, help me here.
Okay.
So this is 4 crochets in a bar. Is that right?
Yes.
4 crochets in a bar. So the first knot is how many beats?
One.
1 beat. What about the second knot, which is a quiver?
Half beat
Followed by?
by a half.
Followed by?
1 beat.
And then?
1 beat.
And then?
2 beats.
And then?
And 2 beats.
Correctly. Now look at this one. What are the number of beats in each bar?
2 minim
Not
in a
2.
bar.
The top number tells you the number of beats.
Okay. 4 minims in
4
a bar.
minims in a bar. So the first note is how many beats?
The first note is 2 counts.
2 counts, but
2
the beat
beats.
is a minim. You said 4 minim beats. So the same way you in the 4/4 a crotchet is a beat, so in 4/2 a minim is a beat.
Okay.
So there are 4 minim beats in each bar. So if you see a minim, it's 1 beat, not 2 like in 4/4. I don't know if it's making sense.
I don't get it. Kindly pardon.
So 4/4 means how many beats in a minute?
4 beats in a bar. 4 crochets in a bar.
4 crochet beats. Is that right? So what is a beat in 4/4?
A beat in 4/4 is
Is a crochet.
the crochet, yeah.
That is how you can say this first beat is 1 beat. Is that right? So let us look at 4/2. What does 4/2 mean?
4 minim in a bar.
4 minim beats. Not only minims, but 4 minim beats.
Okay, 4 minim beats in a bar.
Yes. So a beat. What is a beat in 4/2?
It's a minim.
Exactly. So whenever you see a minim, that is 1 beat in 4/2, because 4/2 defines for you a beat as a minim, not as a crochet. Because the top number tells you the number of beats, the bottom tells you the type of beat or the value of a beat.
So the first one is 1 beat.
1 beat followed by?
A minim 1 beat.
Followed by?
The second one is it a half beat?
A half followed by?
Half beat.
Followed by?
1 beat.
Followed by?
1 beat.
Followed by?
2 beats.
And then?
2 beats.
Exactly. So the first and the second are exactly the same. They are played the same way.
Okay.
The difference is when the beat is doubled so that it becomes a minim instead of a crochet, all the notes are doubled.
Okay.
Are you getting the point? So you should be able to count the 4/2 and see that there are 4 minims in a bar, and you should be able to count the 4/4 and see there are 4 crochets in a bar. But these rhythms will be played exactly the same way. Alice, are you following? Is it making sense?
Yes, I'm following.
Okay, let's see if you can.
Okay.
Kuna
Is
shida?
that one making sense?
Haija
I
make
don't know
sense?
whether it's who is not understanding. I've not yet seen the sense there.
Okay, so the idea here is ni venye nilikuwa nakuuliza kukiwa na crochet 70, minim 70 na quiver 70. Ni gani itaisha mwanzo? It's the same thing, like a beat is a beat. So hapa the beat is what changes.
Okay.
The beat, but the number of beats doesn't change.
Okay.
Sasa ni kama if I give you an example, there are imagine you have two minims in a bar, and each of the minim is a beat. And then you have 2/4, that is 2 crochets in a bar, and each of those crochets is a beat. So which one of them doesn't have 2 beats?
Both of them have.
Yeah, that is the point. The only difference is these bits are different in type than the other bits. They are not the same type. In
For
2.4,
the second.
the type of the
Mhm.
bit is the crochet, but in 2.2, the type of the bit is the minim.
Okay.
So in this case, whenever you're given this is coming the wrong way. It should be the first one. Followed by this. And followed by this. So, sorry. So, this is 2, 2. Is that right? This is two minims in each bar.
Yes.
So when you have these two minims, you can see the first one is a half of a beat because that's a crochet and a beat is a minim, followed by quarter and a quarter, and then a half and a half. So that makes two minims. Look at the last bar. They have two beats, one minim, another minim. That one can be written as this way in 2.4. Now in 2.4, the type of beat is different. It's no longer a minim. The type of beat is a crochet. So everything will now become a half for it to work out, for it to fit. So the crochet, we change it to a quiver. The quiver, we change to semiquiver. The quiver, we change to semiquiver. Crochet to quiver, crochet to quiver, minim to crochet, minim to crochet. The reason is the type of our beat has now halved. So it is half of the ones that we had above. In the one above, the beat was a minim, but in the one below, the beat is a crochet. So we have everything. So imagine if we doubled and everything. If we doubled everything, then this would not be a complete bar. This, in the case of the last bar, this will be a semi-brief and a semi-brief, which does not go with 2.4. Alice, are you getting?
Yes, I'm getting.
So if the value, if the type of the bit halves, you have everything. If the value of the bit or the type of the bit doubles, then you double everything. And don't forget, doubling is from 4 to 2, so from quarter to half. So when the bit is a minim, then everything doubles. And then we can also have from 3.4 to 3.8. So in the case of 3.4 to 3.8, is the bit halving or doubling? Alice?
Unauliza?
From 3.4, if you're given music in 3.4, you rewrite in 3.8. You're given in 3 crochets, you rewrite in 3 quavers. Is the beat doubling? Is the type of the beat doubling or halving?
Isn't halving the same as doubling?
Okay, when you get from a minim to a crochet, you are halving because a crochet is a half of a minim.
Yeah.
But when you get from a crochet to a minim, then you are doubling.
Doubling, okay.
So I'm asking from 3.4 to 3.8, is it halving or doubling?
Yeah, it's halving.
Halving. So you have all the values. So look at this. By doubling the time values, 2.4 can be written as 2.2. You can now see the sense. The 4, which is a crochet, becomes the 2. That is doubling the time values. 3.4 becomes 3.2. 4.4 can be rewritten as 4.2. And 3.8 can be rewritten as 3.4. Is it making sense now?
Yes.
And then by halving the values, the time values of every note, then 2.2 can be written as 2.4, 3.2 as 3.4, 4.2 as 4.4, and 3.4 as 3.8. Now, after this class, just go and look at these things for a while and then take time to meditate on them because they make a lot of sense. It's only that introducing a new kind of beat, a new type of beat might be tricky at times, but they make a lot of sense. So you'll be given a score like the one you see above. In 3/4, you're told to rewrite in 3/8. All you have to ask yourself is the beat doubling or halving? So this is a crochet, and now my beats are becoming quavers. So everything needs to be halved. And you can see how everything is halved and it fits perfectly. Every bar is complete because you did the right thing. Now, it is almost impossible to get this question wrong because if you don't half when you're supposed to half, then the bar is going to be ridiculously big. Like for example, in 3/4 and you're going to 3/8, imagine that you mistakenly decided to double everything. And then you come and write here a minim and then a minim rest and another minim. And then you look at the time signature and you're like, no, this cannot be 3/8. So it's almost impossible to get this wrong unless you really want to get it wrong. So you just will have to get the right answer. And I hope this makes sense because actually this is the end of our lesson. Do you have any question?